Hey y'all, what's up? It is Carmen Chloe of SingleMarriedWidow.com. On yesterday's video, I shared with you all a very intimate part of my life. I shared with you how my late husband actually passed away. In this video, I'm going to be talking about what happened directly after him passing away. So the title of this video is My Husband Died, Now What? So my husband passes away. I'm completely in just utter shock, disbelief, feeling like I'm going through a dream. And I can't grieve because now it's time to take care of the business of planning a funeral. All right? So I'm going to be extremely transparent with you all. My husband had a pre-existing condition. He had sickle cell. He was not up in age. He wasn't old. He was 46. However, trying to get a life insurance policy at his age with what he had going on, because we previously had, family life insurance, had him covered and all of that. Finances changed over the years. That particular policy had lapsed like a couple of years prior. So there was no life insurance on him. He had been trying to get some, and he had been getting denied because of the lab work from the sickle cell and because of his age. So before we left the hospital, I shared with some of his family members that I don't believe there was any life insurance. I was fully prepared to do a cremation because I was not of the thought process of like, oh, let's do a GoFundMe, let's try to collect funds, because I was fully aware that it was mine and his responsibility to have that type of business taken care of, and it was not. We got caught slipping. I got caught slipping. I got caught holding the bag. So in my mind, I was like, okay, the best thing for me to do when I look at, the funds that I have left, because I literally was left with the $500 that he had. I literally was left with the $500 that he had left in his wallet when I collected his belongings from the hospital. So I was like, okay, we're going to do a cremation, because I'm not going to stress myself out about like cooking chicken dinners and doing a GoFundMe and all this type of stuff. I'm like, I'm not doing all of that. Like, this is not going to be stressful. However, there were certain family members who were like, well, such and such is not going to want a cremation, and this person is not going to. So I was like, okay, such and such can, pay for it. So one of his family members, one that was really, really close to him, they were like, I don't want to overstep my boundaries, but when he was in, good financial standings, he did a lot for people. There's a lot of people that know and love him. I feel confident that I can go to several different people and ask them to help out with his burial, and it won't be, like us begging for money or anything. So I was like, cool, if you want to do that, and it's not gonna be in like a GoFundMe, setting up a GoFundMe, like, cool. Okay, but I was like, I'm not gonna stress myself out. Like, this is already too much for me. I'm not gonna stress myself out. I can just as well do a cremation and be done with it. So long story short, his family ended up getting the funds, taking care of the burial and all of that, which I was very thankful at the time. And I'm very thankful that I didn't have to deal with a lot of things pertaining to it. However, in retrospect, when I look back, I wish I would have went ahead with the cremation, because by me allowing certain people to assist in that way, I believe that they thought that they were entitled to certain things that they simply were not entitled to. And there was a lot of mix up with people getting information and documents that should have came directly to me first. However, because of the way that things were handled, that's how it went down. Again, when in retrospect, when I think back on it, I would have just gotten the cremation. It would have saved a lot of relationships that are no longer in good standings, and it would have helped people to stay in their designated places without overstepping boundaries. However, that's neither here nor there. So that was the whole situation with the funeral, the burial, all of that type of stuff. The day after my husband passed away, it was a Monday, I got home and there was an eviction notice on our door. He died on December 16th. The eviction notice stated that we had to be out of the apartment by January 14th. Overwhelmed with pressure, overwhelmed with, you know, the funeral arrangements. The money part was taken care of, but there's still other planning, you know, the songs, the scriptures, who's going to do this, who's going to do that, like all of that. And then to have the pressure and the thought of like, okay, after all of this is over, then I have to figure out how we're going to pack up all this stuff, what we're going to keep, what we're going to give away, and where the hell we're going after this. Had tons of family in Florida, had a place in Florida that I could live in, my grandmother's house, which was unoccupied at the time. However, I still had business that I needed to take care of in Georgia. So I was just trying to figure it out. I was like, God, I don't really know like what to do. Like it's just too much. It's just all just too much. Like I literally wanted to just leave the apartment, get me and my children's clothes, and just go to Florida. Forget the funeral and all of that. However, two of my family members, they stepped in, and there were a little bit of people. There weren't a lot of people who knew the intimate details of us getting evicted, but there were a couple of people. Out of those couple of people, it was one set of family members who were like, you know what, like, we're gonna come, we're gonna help you to pack up, we're gonna get the moving truck, you and the girls are gonna live with us until you figure it out, okay? Until you handle your business here in Georgia, we're gonna do all of that. So that was like a blessing, a huge blessing for me, because I was like extremely overwhelmed. I felt like I had got caught slipping, like I knew better than to even find myself in that type of situation. However, I found myself in that situation, just being transparent. So I was thankful to God for him extending his grace and his mercy onto me and my children at such a just traumatic time. So we were able to stay with the family members temporarily, and they, you know, they were not rushing us at all to get out. One of them was even like, you know, I can help you to get a job. And I had thought about that for a while. Okay, do I get a job now, or do I wait, and do I, you know, just let my head clear out, and do I take time to grieve and to process things? So staying with the family member, trying to figure things out. Then I find out that I cannot get the tag renewed for the vehicle that my husband left behind. There were two vehicles prior to him passing away. One of them went away, so there was one left, and that one left, when I write my book, guys, it's gonna be good. If God releases me to write it. I don't know if he wants me to tell everything, but yeah. But the vehicle that he left behind, I was unable to renew the tag in my name. I was unable to get the car registered in my name. So long story short, the people who he had financed the car with, they wanted the vehicle back. So here I was, okay, we're living with family, we just got evicted, I'm trying to figure out life, and now I have to figure out how I'm going to get a new car. Throughout the years, my credit had been dragged through the mud, okay? I didn't have any, you know, job income coming in. In between that time, I was able to get some other income, but it wasn't job income. However, in the midst of all of that, in the midst of me like, God, how am I going to get a car? Like, my credit is in the trash. I don't have any job income. I don't have any job history. I haven't worked in like over 5-6 years. But in the midst of all that, I was able to get a car. I was able to get it in my name. I was able to get it without fudging any numbers or making up any documents. Like, I was able to get a car in my name with my credit, being completely honest. And I know for a fact that was nobody but God, okay? So on January 31st is when I was able to get our car, our vehicle that we were in. And I was like, okay, God, things are beginning to look up. You know, this was a hard blow for us. I felt like I got knocked on my behind. I felt like I got caught slipping in different ways that I knew better than to get caught slipping in. But even in the midst of that, God still extended his grace and his mercy unto us. And I was so very thankful for that. So those are the events that happened like right after my husband passed away. But then there's more that happened, but I'm gonna save that for the next video for tomorrow. So thank you guys so much for listening to another piece of my story. The word of God says we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. A lot of times when people tell their testimony, they think, you know, they have to tell all of their business, which I understand you don't have to tell all of your business, but I tell parts of my business that God releases me to tell, because I know that by me telling parts of my story, it will set another woman free, and it will release her from living in the bondage and the shame of some of the things that she has gone through and experienced, that she feels like other people will judge her and talk about her for going through. So that is why I tell bits and pieces of my story as God releases me to, because I'm completely free. I'm completely liberated. I have no shame about the things that I have been through, and I know for a fact that it's going to help to set another woman free. And that is why I do it. That is why I am on this journey. That is why I am back charged on the ministry and the mission that I know God has called me to. So thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.